My wife said, "You need to get over it." I replied, "Your Instagram search history says no." Then I called the divorce lawyer I should have hired 5 years ago, quietly moved my money into a new account, and forwarded the videos her lover sent me to our pastor. And I just smiled, because she thinks I'm just having another bad day, but my lawyer says her 5 affairs make the infidelity clause in our prenup ironclad. Original post: I am 43 years old. My wife Lisa is the same age. We have been married for 12 years and have 2 young daughters. For a long time, I thought our life was a testament to forgiveness and faith. Now I know it was just a testament to my own foolishness. Don't miss the twist. Subscribe and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Our story is complicated. In our first 7 years of marriage, my wife had 4 affairs that I know of. Each time I was devastated. Each time I chose to forgive her. I am a Christian, and I took my wedding vows seriously. I believed in grace, in second chances. I stayed for my daughters and for my promise to God. The final, catastrophic betrayal began in 2018. She started a 2-year, long affair with a man I considered my best friend, a man named Kevin. I was completely blind to it. In August of 2020 she moved out, telling me she needed space, that she was unhappy. For the next few months, our lives were a chaotic mess of shared custody and strained conversations. The weeks she didn't have our daughters, she told me she was staying with a friend. I later learned she was spending that time with him. The truth came out in the fall of 2020. Kevin, in a twisted act of cruelty, sent me pictures and videos of them together. Graphic, undeniable proof. He hoped it would make me divorce her so he could have her to himself. The double betrayal, from my wife and my best friend, broke me in a way the other affairs never had. But still, I didn't leave. She came home in December of that year, full of tears and apologies, and we began the long, painful journey of reconciliation. I threw myself into therapy. I spent 2 years in talk therapy, and another 2 years in EMDR, a trauma-focused therapy, trying to process the images he had sent me. I drank myself numb most nights, hoping to silence the memories. For the first year or so, Lisa was patient. She gave me space for my hard days, for my grief. But her grace had an expiration date. Eventually, she grew tired of my sadness. My pain became an inconvenience to her. When I would get quiet or withdrawn, she would get angry, gaslighting me, telling me I was being overly sensitive. I learned to shut up. I learned to bury my feelings, to pretend I was okay, for fear that she would leave again. For the past few years, I have been living a lie, not just to her, but to myself. I have realized, with a soul-crushing certainty, that I wish I had left her 5 years ago. I would be happier alone than living in this prison of forced forgiveness. I was a better, more present father during the months she was gone. Now, I feel like a ghost in my own home. The final crack in my carefully constructed facade happened a few days ago. She asked me to look something up on her phone, on her best friend's Instagram page. I opened the app and went to the search bar. I typed the first letter of her friend's name, a K, and the second result that popped up was his name, Kevin. I know how Instagram's search algorithm works. It suggests people you have recently searched for or interacted with. A cold, familiar dread washed over me. He was supposed to be blocked. That was a non-negotiable part of our reconciliation. The betrayal wasn't just in the past. It was here now, active on her phone. I haven't confronted her yet. I just feel a quiet, terrifying readiness to finally be done. Update 1. After I saw Kevin's name in her search history, I didn't say anything. I just handed her the phone back, my face a calm, blank mask. Inside, a storm was raging. It wasn't the hot, chaotic anger of the past. It was a cold, precise fury. 5 years. 5 years of therapy, of sleepless nights, of swallowing my pain to make her comfortable, and she was still looking him up. The disrespect was absolute. I waited until the next evening. The kids were asleep. She was on the couch, scrolling through her phone, completely oblivious. I sat down in the armchair across from her. "I need to ask you something, Lisa," I said, my voice quiet and even. "What's up?" she asked, not looking up from her screen. "Why did you unblock Kevin on Instagram?" She froze. Her head snapped up, her eyes wide with a familiar, cornered panic. "I don't know what you're talking about. He's blocked. He has been for years." The lie was so reflexive, so practiced, it was almost impressive. "Don't lie to me, Lisa," I said, my voice still quiet, but with an edge of steel she hadn't heard in years. "I saw his name in your search history yesterday when you asked me to use your phone. He was the second result. You've been looking at his profile." She started to fall back on her old script. "The defensive anger, the gaslighting. You're being paranoid. It's just an algorithm. I can't control what it shows me." "Stop," I said. The word was a slap in the silent room. "I have been your quiet, compliant, broken husband for 5 years. I have swallowed my pain so you wouldn't have to feel uncomfortable. That man, the one I am right now, is gone. You are speaking to someone else now." I stood up and walked over to the fireplace, my back to her. "This isn't about you looking him up. This is about the lie. It's about the fact that after everything, your first instinct is still to deceive me, to make me feel crazy for seeing what is right in front of my face." I turned to face her. She was crying now, the tears of a person who has run out of moves. "This marriage is a performance," I said, my voice heavy with a grief that was 5 years old. "And I am done playing my part. I want you to pack a bag. I want you to go to your mother's. I will have you served with divorce papers on Monday." "You can't do this," she sobbed. "After everything we've been through. For the kids. I am doing this because of everything we've been through," I said. "And I am doing this for my kids. They deserve a father who isn't a ghost. They deserve a father who isn't living a lie." I didn't wait for her to argue. I went to our bedroom, packed a bag of my own things, and walked out the front door. I was the one who left this time. The cycle was finally broken. Update 2. I stayed at a hotel for the weekend. First thing Monday morning, I was in a divorce lawyer's office. I had a prenuptial agreement, one with a strict infidelity clause that my lawyer said was ironclad, especially given the history of 5 documented affairs. I also had the videos Kevin had sent me, saved on a secure hard drive for 5 long years. My lawyer filed the papers that day. I moved back into the house. Lisa had, as I requested, gone to her parents'. The silence in the house was a blessing. I spent the evening with my daughters, and for the first time in years, I was fully present. We ordered pizza and built a fort in the living room. I felt like I was breathing again. Lisa's response was predictable. She hired a lawyer and prepared for a fight. Her initial stance was that the affairs were in the past, that we had reconciled, and that the prenup was therefore invalid. She was going to argue that my current instability and unfounded paranoia were the reasons for the divorce, and she was going to fight for the house and primary custody. My lawyer's response was a single, devastating package sent via courier to her attorney. It contained a detailed, notarized timeline of her 5 affairs. It also contained a USB drive with the videos Kevin had sent me. The final item in the package was a sworn affidavit from me, detailing the years of emotional abuse and gaslighting I had endured, and the recent discovery of her continued contact with Kevin. The package concluded with our settlement offer. She could walk away with the small sum stipulated in the prenup, or we could proceed to a discovery phase where we would subpoena Kevin and every other man she had an affair with to testify in open court. The choice was hers. The effect was instantaneous. Her lawyer called mine within the hour. The fight was over. She would sign the papers. But I wasn't done. There was one more loose end. Our pastor, the man who had counseled me to forgive, to fight for my marriage based on my faith. He had only ever heard her side of the story, her tale of a single, regrettable mistake. He needed to know the truth. I sent him a private, respectful email. I told him the full history. I attached the videos. I wrote, "You advised me to act out of grace. I now see that my grace was enabling her sin. I am choosing to honor my vows to God by no longer being a party to this deception." I didn't ask for a response. I just needed to set the record straight. Update 3. A month later, the divorce was in its final stages. Lisa had accepted the terms of the prenup. She had no choice. She was staying with her parents, a 43-year-old woman forced to move back into her childhood bedroom. She started sending me desperate emails. The anger was gone, replaced by a pathetic, pleading tone. She was sorry. She was broken. She had made a terrible mistake. She said she had only unblocked Kevin because she wanted to see if he was happy, that it was a moment of weakness. She begged me to meet her, to talk, to consider reconciliation one last time for the sake of the children. I agreed to meet her. Not for her. For me. I needed to see her face and say my final words. We met at a sterile, impersonal coffee shop. She looked small and defeated. The confident, dismissive woman who had belittled my pain for years was gone. She cried as she apologized, telling me she knew she had destroyed everything. That she was finally getting help. That she was finally ready to be the wife I deserved. I listened to her whole performance. When she was done, I just looked at her. The problem, Lisa, I said, my voice calm and steady, is that you're not sorry for the affairs. You're not even sorry for the lies. You're sorry that your patience ran out. You're sorry that I stopped being the quiet, broken man who would swallow his pain to keep the peace. You're not mourning the loss of our marriage. You're mourning the loss of your control over me. Tears streamed down her face. That's not true. I love you. No, you don't, I said, because love doesn't demand silence. Love doesn't belittle pain. Love doesn't call you stupid for having feelings. I stood up from the table. I stayed for my daughters. I stayed for my promise to God. But my promise was to a marriage, a partnership. It was not a promise to be a willing participant in a lifelong deception. I forgive you, Lisa. But forgiveness does not require reconciliation. I am done. We are done. I walked out of that coffee shop and left her there, a ghost of a wife I no longer recognized. The weight of 5 years of forced silence lifted from my shoulders. I was finally free. Final update. It has been 6 months since the divorce was finalized. Life is quiet. Life is good. I have my daughters, and I have my peace. The house is no longer a prison of bad memories, it's our sanctuary. I am the father I was always meant to be, present, happy, and free. Lisa is still living with her parents. She is in therapy. I hope for her sake it helps. She sees the girls on weekends. Our interactions are brief and civil, limited to logistics. She is just a woman I used to know, the mother of my children. The love, the anger, the pain. It's all gone, replaced by a quiet, indifferent calm. Our former pastor called me a few weeks after I sent him the email. He was deeply apologetic. He said he had been blind, that he had given me advice based on a lie. He asked for my forgiveness, which I gave him. I haven't seen or heard from Kevin. He is a ghost from a past that is no longer mine. My revenge was never about him, or even about her. It was about me. It was about reclaiming my own voice, my own truth. It was about breaking a cycle of betrayal and forgiveness that was destroying my soul. Last week, I was looking at my wife's Instagram search history on her phone. That was the sentence that started this new chapter of my life. I think about that moment sometimes. The small, insignificant act of typing a single letter. It was the straw that finally broke the camel's back. It wasn't a dramatic explosion. It was a quiet, final click that set me free. I spent 5 years trying to forgive a woman who didn't deserve it. I will spend the rest of my life being grateful that I finally found the strength to forgive myself for staying.